OP's parents try to force them to leave their college via force and abuse. So, I'm a college student from Missouri who lives in a dorm as well as my boyfriend's apartment. My parents came up to my boyfriend's apartment because they didn't like that I was staying with him. A few days ago, they called the cops, saying he kidnapped me and that I was in danger, and the police came and called them and told them I was safe. Not satisfied, they came up to his apartment and called the police to escort me and my stuff out of the premises. The police forced himself into the apartment and let my parents in, and they forced me to take my stuff out of the apartment without my boyfriend's or my own consent. They came up to my college to convince me to go home with them. They took me to my dorm and made me pack up my stuff, and when I told them that I didn't want to, my mom started to threaten me. She said she would go to court and gain guardianship over me, tell the courts I'm mentally unfit to care for myself, and get a restraining order for herself and me against my boyfriend. For context, I have ADHD and had AITA as a kid and take medicine and go to a psychiatrist. But I have never needed a crutch when it comes to educational or social things. Most of the time, I blend in with other people, and most don't even know. When I told her she couldn't, she got angry at me and began to beat me and scream. My crying and her screams were so loud that the people on the floor below me went to the front desk and told them something was happening on the floor. She began to take my stuff that was in the dorm, saying she bought it. When I told her that some of the stuff I bought, she hit me in front of someone in the hallway who reported it to the RA. They took everything of mine except my clothes, dumped trash on the floor, broke my things, and left my room a mess. My RA came to me afterwards and helped me report the problem to the housing supervisor and remove my parents off paperwork. I also went to a counselor and friends who I told about the situation. I have pictures of the room after they trashed it. Is there any legal action I can take against my parents? Is there anything my boyfriend can do? Can I use anyone from the university as a witness to the event? What about my mom? Can she gain guardianship over me? TLDR, my parents came to college and accused me for not going home with them. They took my stuff and threatened legal action. Helpful comments in the original post. Commenter 1. OP, this is mostly procedural advice, not necessarily legal advice. 1. Contact residential life staff. Inform them that your parents wormed their way into your dorm room, damaged your belongings, and that they are not welcome. Ask for help in keeping them away from you. Let the staff know you'll be filing a police report against your parents and ask if they'll need a copy. Do not place blame on RisLife. They need to be allies of yours. 2. Contact your school's student retention staff, if you have them, or the dean of students. Let them know the same thing that you posted here. Ask if they can help you. 3. As others have said, file a police report. If you want them out of your life, ask for help getting a restraining order or no contact order. This is important because 4. If you are on federal financial aid, cutting your parents out of your life will blow up your FAFSA application next year. If you aren't 24, then chances are good you won't count as an independent student, even if your parents are horrible to you. However, your school can apply for a dependency override if you have a restraining or no contact order against them. So, visit your financial aid office and ask for help. This will take time to work through because colleges are bulky and often slow. But you should be willing to lean on the staff here. They will want to help you, but they can't if you don't ask. Commenter 2. Getting a dependence override is difficult. However, you can make it much easier. 1. Document everything. They have threatened your well-being. Get extra copies of police reports. 2. Make sure you are current with your medications and in good standing with all doctors. 3. Seek both outside and school therapy. Their testimony can be the thing that makes it. 4. Find someone who is knowledgeable about social programs. Make sure to apply for all that you can get. 5. Find financial advice. If you have a business college, you may have a finance professor who can look over your personal budget. Make sure you do not take as much as a stick of gum from them. This may mean giving up your car, but if you can't afford it yourself, you need to let it go. 6. Show this all to a financial aid counselor as soon as you have made a completely significant break. Keep them in the loop. Ask them what else they need. A good relationship is going a long way. Update. On Monday, I went to court and got a restraining order against my mother for what happened. I've been in contact with many school offices about removing my parents from my paperwork as well as getting support after everything that's happened. The school has been very helpful with giving me support as well as keeping me up to date with everything since there's an investigation happening. My mother is trying to sue whoever she can and has been sending people to message me. I haven't told the cops because technically there's no proof she's telling people to contact me, but people back home are now trying to convince me to come back. I mentally have been happier, only crying like once a week about everything. I have been getting all my documents she took and am working on getting the money she has from mine as well as getting an attorney to get my things back. Thank you to everyone who responded to the previous post. It's been a confusing time for me, but everything has helped. Update. AITA for not talking to my parents. Sorry about the format. I'm on mobile and a little intoxicated. A few months ago, in April, a thing happened with my parents. Long story short, they came up to my college and took my things. I posted about it a few months ago on our legal, if anyone's interested. But anyway, things have been both heaven and hell, with my father telling me to come get my stuff by either sending him my address so I can pay him to get my stuff back or come home without my boyfriend, who they hate, to come get it. I didn't immediately respond because 1. I don't want to pay for the stuff they took, and 2. I don't and can't come up without my boyfriend because he has the car. He gave me 30 days to get my stuff, and after a few days, he messaged me saying he was in the hospital and to call him. Now, I don't think he would say that to be manipulative, but he has called me and texted me many times, saying how horrible I am and that I'm disrespectful. I didn't call him or see him, even though I wanted to, out of fear that it was some sort of guilt trip. A few days ago, I contacted him, saying I wanted my stuff back because I had important papers and money that they wouldn't give back. He replied, saying that I needed to call him, and so after a day of deliberating, I called him. He proceeded to tell me how hurt he was that I didn't call him in the hospital and how horrible I am for getting a restraining order against my mom and not contacting them when I'm in the city. I felt really bad and began to cry and tell him I felt horrible, which I did up until he handed the phone to my mom, who said some things that led to me hanging up on her and throwing my phone. My boyfriend says I shouldn't talk to them and admits I messed up when I didn't call him. But I want to see them again because I want things to be good and because they have some financial power over me when it comes to my insurance. Also, they've told my whole family their side of the story, and they all hate me and think I'm an ignorant little kid. And my parents know that they believe them and that they'll want me to reconcile. I've gotten texts from my brother calling me an idiot as well as from my best friend saying that I'm horrible for not contacting my dad. I am very conflicted and feel like I should have called, but I don't know. Update. Having to apologize to go to a funeral. Rant, advice wanted. So, a year ago, I left because of family troubles, and I haven't really contacted anyone who is closely associated with my family because I know they would lecture me and make me feel like a bad guy for running away. As of a week ago, my godfather passed away. I was really close to him and my godmother, my Nana, who I loved and still love. She's one of my parents, and I think a use equals love. My parents called me the day after he passed and told me I couldn't come to the funeral unless I apologized to her for leaving. And even if I could, I couldn't bring my boyfriend, meaning I'd have to come up on the train and stay with them. I have no license because they took my stuff. I don't know how I would apologize, nor do I feel comfortable staying with my parents after the SHT they pulled. I've been slowly trying to improve my relationship with them, not to the point where it was, but to the point where I can ask them for help when I need it. Second story. OP's boyfriend wants an abortion, but OP doesn't. On a throwaway, for obvious reasons. So I just found out that I'm pregnant, thinking around 6-7 weeks, but I haven't gone to the doctor yet. So when I told my BF of 1.5 years that I was pregnant, he was all like, "Oh, this is obviously your choice, and I'll support you through it." We went to dinner that night, and I told him that I was 80/20, 80% of me wanted to keep it, and 20% wasn't sure. We talked about what would need to change because we don't live together, and I'm halfway through graduate school, working on my MSW. We talked about everything. How I would stay in school and focus on finishing. And being a new mom, that first year before I went back to work and decided we were going to keep it. The next day, while I was at work, he texted me that we needed to talk, so when I got home, he came over and told me he had changed his mind, we weren't ready, and he wanted me to get an abortion. I said that I knew it would be hard. But it's not like we're teenagers. Our priorities would have to change, but it's not like we can get it together. He said he doesn't want to struggle, and he doesn't want to do it now. We started arguing because I said I would think about what he said and make my own decision. He said I was being selfish, and I have this fantasy in my head about being a mom. Maybe he's right. He said since I got an abortion when I was 21, it shouldn't be a hard decision now. But those circumstances were completely different. I had no job, I wasn't dating the guy seriously. And he made it clear the only help I would get from him was financial, so it was an easy choice. This feels different. I just don't know what to do now. I made the appointment at PP for 2 weeks, but I keep going back and forth. I don't want to force him into a situation he doesn't want to be in, but I feel like he's pressuring me to make the choice he wants. I think he's just freaking out, and the initial shock is weighing on him, but he's completely shut down any conversations. I don't know if I want advice or just to vent. This is really a lot, and I don't know where to go from here. Update. So I thought about it for a few days and decided that I would be willing to move forward as a single mother if that's what it came to. so I went to my boyfriend and explained that I was not going to get an abortion. I told him if he didn't want to be involved, I would not force him to have a relationship with me or the child, and I would not take him to court. I explained that I want to do this with him, that I love him, and that I think he would be an amazing dad, but I wasn't going to force him, so I gave him some time to think about it. After a while, he decided that he was all in with me, and once we began telling my family and he saw how excited and supportive they all were, he really started to get excited. We're in a great place right now, and my dad's girlfriend offered us her townhouse. We'll be moving there a few months before the baby comes. I don't think anyone really cares about this update, but I thought I would share it just in case. I want to thank everyone for their thoughtful responses and advice. I'll be a mom this summer, and I am so excited. Update number 2. Hello. It's been almost a year since my last update. I don't know if you even remember my post, and I don't know how to link it, so look at my profile. I don't know, maybe the moderators can help with that. So I just wanted to give a short update. We had our son this summer, and he is the happiest, healthiest baby boy and has added so much love and joy to our lives. After the initial freaking out, we both decided we were committed to raising our son together. We moved in together 3 months before my due date, and things have been great so far. We obviously still have our little arguments and have our new parent stress, but we've really grown this last year. My boyfriend was able to find a good job with benefits and has become the main caretaker for our son as I am out of the house 6 days a week, working full-time, finishing graduate school, and doing an internship. I really could not have done this without his support, and the support of my family, who help in more ways than I can name. I can't wait until I graduate in May and can dedicate more time to him and our son. He has taken on fatherhood so naturally and really does the heavy lifting. I'm very grateful. So far, we're doing well, and I hope we continue that way. Thank you to all the people who typed words of encouragement, and a big foo to the people who said, I can't wait till you cry because you're a single mom.